Okay, so welcome everybody. I think we have a good number in now. We might be able to get started if that's okay with everybody. Before we get started, just to say again, happy International Women's Day. Thank you very much for joining us online. It's great to have good people here online this afternoon for a quick lunchtime chat about careers in construction, particularly in the context of CABE for Women. We have some of the committee members here online with us this afternoon, so thanks very much for everyone joining us. For any students or schools that have joined us online, we have a super duper goodie bag which I picked up in the college actually this morning when I was in teaching classes. So in here there's all sorts of really cool things. There's a beanie, there's a USB port key, there's like notebooks, pens, pencils, you name it. It's actually quite heavy. So there's a prize anyway up for grabs. And the trick is a very quick kind of a question at the end that you can answer and put your name down. So I'll put the link to that kind of form at the end of the recording. Okay. I think we're kind of, thanks a million, Nancy. It's great to see that. Thanks for that comment in the chat. So I think we're ready to get started. We might just go around screen and introduce everybody. So if all the speakers wouldn't mind just to switch on their microphones and we'll just do a quick round before we let our president of ATU introduce to this afternoon. Okay, so I have on my screen anyway, if you could wave and say hello, we have our speakers at the top of the screen, Elizabeth Williams DeFore.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy International Women's Day. Thank you for taking the time to join us. My name's Elizabeth Williams DeFore. I am a Senior Development Manager for PA Housing. We are based in London, the South East and in the Midlands. And welcome.
Thanks a million, Liz. That's wonderful. Next on my screen, I have Lindsay Richards. Lindsay, if you quick hello.
Hi everyone, happy International Women's Day. Delighted to be here this morning. My name is Lindsay Richards and I'm a chartered quantity surveyor and I'm managing director of my own practice. And I know you can't tell from my accent, but I am Welsh. So my practice is in Wales.
Thanks so much. That's wonderful. Our next speaker, Jane Hall, if you'd like to say a quick hello as well, please.
Hello everybody, and great to see you all here. My name is Jane Hall. I work in the building control sector and I'm currently the Director of Quality and Compliance at Hertfordshire Building Control, which is a company set up by 8 local authorities to deliver their building control service.
Okay, thanks so much, Jane. It's great to have you online this afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. And Orla Flynn, would you like to introduce yourself as well, please? Thanks.
Thank you very much, Irene. So my name is Dr. Orla Flynn. I'm President of Atlantic Technological University. Delighted to be joining you here this day at lunchtime, this very special day. Most women are in demand on a day like today because there's always lots of events, and I suppose I'm no different. So, Irene, I'm happy to say my couple of words of welcome. I have another group waiting for me. There's actually 2 other groups that I'm going to be meeting at lunchtime today, but I'm particularly thrilled to be joining you here for this is really special event for a variety of reasons. So if you'd like me to go ahead and say my few words, or if you want to go ahead yourself or introduce yourself, perhaps.
That would be super. If you could just say a few words, it would be wonderful. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. And so firstly, just to say that what a pleasure it is for me to be saying a few words and of welcome. I'd like to welcome firstly, all of our guests joining us here today, but a very special welcome to all of our speakers here. I'm really heartened to see the attendant, the lineup of speakers that we have from around the world, and to see how connected we are internationally in the construction industry generally. But the whole construction industry, sometimes people feel that it's a male-dominated industry, and what we are seeing, particularly with new methods of construction, with new methods of management in construction, we're seeing a huge and growing interest for careers for women. And I think it's swiftly losing maybe the historic tag that it would have had. And having such senior leaders today, female leaders today from the industry, I think will give our attendees a great insight in the potential careers that are available in the construction industry. I particularly, again, want to acknowledge the work of Irene here in engaging and organising the event today. We're fortunate in Atlantic Technological University. We are a multi-campus university. We have campuses in Galway, in Mayo, in Sligo, in Donegal, and we offer construction-related programs across the entire west and northwest of Ireland. We have degree programs, we have special purpose awards, undergraduate and postgraduate. And what's very interesting is the amount of women that we have in leadership roles in engineering, especially in construction. So 2 of our heads of department are women, and 1 of our deans of faculty is a woman as well. And that's quite unusual. So to have so many female leaders in the especially in the construction area. So again, delighted to welcome you. There's some great speakers lined up, and on this very special day, recognizing International Women's Day, it's wonderful to have a construction-related event taking place, highlighting the senior roles that women can have and do have, and what an exciting career and future career this will be for especially for women going forward. So I'll hand back to you, Irene. Thank you again to everyone for joining us. And I'm sorry I can't stay with you for the whole hour, but I'll stay with you for a little while and I'll have to slide away. So enjoy.
Thank you so much, Orla. What a wonderful introduction, really praise, really inspiring, and a lovely kind of set point for us to get started. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule. We really appreciate it, and it's great to have your support for this event and any event that we run through CABE or for gender equality in general across in construction and engineering. So really appreciate your ongoing support. I think we're going to start now with a little bit of a chat with one of the speakers. The first speaker I'm going to actually ask a few questions with, engage a conversation with, is Lindsay Richards. So Lindsay, if you're okay, we can ask you a few questions now and maybe go through. Tell us a little bit maybe about yourself and where you're calling from this afternoon.
Okay, right. Well, I've strategically positioned myself here. I don't know whether you notice, everybody, with a hard hat on my head, so I can actually go take it off or put it back on. Genius. My name's Lindsay Richards, as I say, and I'm a chartered building engineer and a chartered quantity surveyor. I didn't actually know what I wanted to do when I was in school, and I didn't do A levels. I left and I did a BTEC, or what we call, it's a college. I'm not sure. Is it the same in Irene in Ireland? It's the 2 years that's vocational. That's equivalent to A levels. So I did a BTEC, and then still wasn't really sure of any of the roles in the construction industry, but I spoke to a couple of people. I knew I didn't want to work inside all the time, that I wanted to work outside and inside and have a job where not every day was the same. And quantity surveying was a job that appealed to me. As soon as I started the course, when I was learning then, the subjects actually meant something to me. So instead of just doing sort of, history, maths and whatever, suddenly all these subjects were not only really applicable, interesting, but suddenly construction for me was just, I think my passion started there, looking to see how buildings were actually constructed, how they were put together. And so then actually it depends on what role you want to do. If you've got that passion for construction or you know a bit about it, I suppose. So a quantity surveying role was very much a mixture of a lot of different things. As I say, I didn't want to be out on site all the time, didn't want to be in the office. So from a quantity surveying point of view, I needed to know all about construction, how things were put together, how things were built, because we are the sort of the financial managers, if you like. We need to know how long things need to take to be built. We need to know how much material goes into those buildings, so that we can put a cost to them. And we also need to know the legal side of things. So we're the ones who give advice as to so I'm not sure whether I've left anything out there, Irene, really.
No, actually, no, you've had a varied career, haven't you? And you've actually delved into a lot of different options. And it's interesting to see, I suppose, where you started and where you ended up. And very inspiring to hear as well that you're in a position where you can run your own business and that it is working and adapting to your needs and what you're looking for from your career moving forward as well. So that's great to hear. It's wonderful to hear. And I'm sure you've come across lots of mixes of percentages of people in each of those different journeys that you've had, the chapters in your life. So between your studies, working on site, in business and industry, working in academia, and then running your own business. We have an interesting take on it. I did look up to see where we were in Ireland in relation to women in construction, and I managed to get some statistics from our Central Statistics Office that said actually 1 in 4 of the construction jobs that were added or included in 2021 actually went to women. So there's just seemed that's much larger, percentage-wise, 25%, if you like, of the women that would have been, the numbers would have been much smaller back in my day when I started in school. Did you find the same in Wales? Is there change coming?
Absolutely, and I tell you what's really encouraging from a global perspective. We look at America first, really, because it's so large, as to what's happening there with the trend towards more females taking up different roles, and they're ahead of us. But that's normally the sort of the trajectory we follow too. So I've seen since I started where there are only 2% of the females on our course doing quantity surveying, which is ridiculous, really, and no need for it. So I think it's just that we undersell ourselves sometimes in the construction industry to females as to what's on offer and the sort of jobs. It's not only a dirty industry. Okay, you go on the site and there's a lot of mud and whatever, but from my perspective, I mean, I'm actually on the management side more, and I think that's one of the beauties with it. You're quite right, the flexibility of that as a career for female.
Very interesting take on that, yeah, for sure. Listen, thank you so much, Lindsay. That's been really informative. I might come back to you maybe at the end with any questions, I suppose, that come through in the chat or through conversations, but you've got so much to offer. Thank you again for taking the time to give us an outline of your career, your profession, and the job as a quantity surveyor. It's really insightful. Thanks so much. I might speak to our next speaker now, Jane Hall. Jane, thank you again. So you're a very busy lady, no more than Lindsay. Thanks again for joining us this afternoon. Would you be able to recap on the role you have in construction, and maybe a little bit like Lindsay, how you got to that position in your career?
Well, yes, I'd be very happy to share. I mean, I always, from a very early age, I knew I wanted to be an architect. I think I was about 8 years old when I decided that. Obviously, I'm not an architect, so it didn't go to plan. But no, I can remember sitting down with my father, having a conversation about careers in construction. My father was an interior decorator and upholsterer, and he said, when I said, I want to be an architect, he said, oh, no, you want to be a quantity surveyor, which obviously Lindsay is. And I said, well, what does that entail, Daddy? And he said, oh, he's the man who counts the bricks, and I said, no, I'll stick with architecture. Thank you. But no, I did my A-levels with a view to taking up a place at Cardiff University. But as I was a sort of fairly willful teenager, I decided I wanted a job. I didn't want to go to university. I wanted a job, and I got a job in a small architectural practice, and I did my learning on day release, and I did an ONC and HNC in building studies (architecture). And after that, I thought I knew everything and I didn't need to get any more qualifications. And of course, I was quite successful. I was working as an architectural technician. I moved into back in the days when they had architects departments at local authority. So I went to a local authority, worked in the architects department, went back into private practice, and then made the bold decision to launch my own little design consultancy myself. And I did that for 12 years. I married an architect, and when that marriage failed and the business failed, I came into building control. I had these transferable skills, and I had 2 small children, and I was looking for a job that I could do whilst raising my tiny daughters. And the local authority were looking for trainee building control surveyors. similar to what they're doing now. We're always looking for, you know, people to come into the sector and train up and to find themselves a very rewarding career path. So yes, that was in 2003. I started my career in building control, and I found that the opportunities for progression were pretty good at the time. I soon found myself managing a small team in a small local authority. I got involved with the LABC, which is Local Authority Building Control, our national sort of, representative body, and you know, they were a great support in terms of you know, putting me in touch with other people, and I became, interestingly, was voted by my peers the first woman president of LABC back in 2016. So I'm very proud of that achievement. From a professional membership point of view, I joined CABE, and again, I highly recommend, if you're in a professional role, that you do, you know, aspire to get yourself into a chartered position. So join the professional body that suits your career, and get involved with that. And you get out what you put in. So, you know, volunteering for your local groups and things like that, I highly recommend. But again, I was elected onto the board of CABE, and from there found that I'd been put forward or nominated by someone who thought, obviously, that I could do it onto the presidential team. So I have also held a presidential role at CABE. And last year, in actual fact, it was a year ago today, we launched our Women in Construction group to represent the women in CABE, the membership, but more broadly than that, because we're all women and we all work with men and men work with us. We want it to be a very inclusive and you know, forward-thinking group to sort of just generally accept everybody who works in the industry. But I now am working for one of the largest building control bodies in the local authority sector at the moment, and I'm thoroughly enjoying my role. I couldn't have had a better career path if I'd have asked for it.
Well, well done, Jane. You're a natural born leader in every role that you've taken in your career today, and your trajectory was heading up from the get-go. Sounds of it, fair play to you. It's very inspiring to hear, and you know, and whatever life throws at you, you were able to roll with it and adopt in your career in construction. I'm curious, I suppose I shouldn't really be asking this because you know, I come from that kind of background as well, but do you prefer building control instead of architecture, or you know, are you happy, you know, that there is a slight difference between them, you know, and the responsibilities are and the role, and what your end result is your day job is a little bit different. Yeah, your preference is building control.
No, I can answer that. I mean, obviously, I did. I spent 20 years, the first 20 years of my career, in that sort of design side, on the other side of the fence, and you know, obviously, I enjoy that, and I still enjoy that, but I don't engage in it in a professional manner. But that makes it sound like I engage in it in an unprofessional manner. That's not the case. No, I'm fully sort of committed to building control and what building control is setting out to achieve, or build, you know, to ensure that the building regulations, which are basically the lowest standard that you should aspire to, is to ensure that they are delivered on our sites, on our building sites throughout the country. And and I have to say, the building I've learned, if I had known what I learned in the first couple of years in building control, whilst I was an architectural technician, I would have done that job 10 times better. You know, understanding the rules and the regulations and why they're there has been, you know, really, really important. And I think, you know, my view, I would like to see everybody to aspire to higher standards and to collaborate between the sectors, so that we are all singing from the same song sheet, and what we're delivering to our communities are good, safe, sustainable, accessible buildings. And that would be what you know, if I could sort of contribute in any small way to that during my career, then that's what I would like to do. But I do enjoy the role I'm doing now. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's so inspiring. It's great to hear. And I'm sure it resonates a lot with everybody here online this afternoon. That premise of actually being in a place that's safe for you and you feel well in and you can flourish in. That's what environment, that's what everybody wants. And safe to build and safe to, absolutely. Well done, Jane. We'll come back again with more questions, have no doubt. I might just move on, if that's okay, to our next speaker. I'm just keeping an eye on the time so that we're kind of keeping it on schedule as much as possible. So Elizabeth, if you wouldn't mind, would love to have a chat with you now, if that's okay. It's so great to have you with us online. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
I work with them to develop new housing for social housing, so affordable housing, which includes shared ownership. And I work with internal colleagues on consulting with them to ensure that the homes we are building, they're in the right locations, they're fit for purpose. So, do we need more family-sized homes, 3 or 4 bed properties, as opposed to 1 and 2 bed apartments? And it's a really varied role. So I've also been involved in regeneration. So that includes placemaking and design. So although I'm not an architect, I get involved in reviewing drawings and making suggestions, highlighting where things can improve. So the practicalities of once it's built, how the home will be occupied. I also get involved with managing people. So I set targets, benchmark. I help colleagues through their day-to-day roles of how to review planning consents and what it means for implementation, preparing for inspections. So that's inspections from during the process of when new homes are being built, or if it's major works being carried out, because it needs to be assessed along the way to make sure we're doing the right thing all of the time. And that's where building control comes in, and making sure that we get it signed off. I've also been involved in designing out criminology. So we call that secured by design in the industry, the construction industry. And if it's designed correctly and right, an assessor comes along, assesses it, and hands you a certificate at bronze, silver or gold. So there's lots of things I get involved with. So yeah, it's great. And you must be wondering, how did I get here? Well, I actually started life as in education as a nursery nurse, believe it or not. But that was with a view. At the time when I was leaving school, there was a role to work with young women and helping them to find new homes for them and their children. But by the time I came out of qualifying as a nursery nurse, those roles had disappeared. And then I got a traineeship as a housing officer with the Guinness Trust. And I went to work out in Essex for a year, and I attended university 1 day a week on day release at the University of Westminster. And then I got a role as a housing officer. So I actually I call it starting from the ground up. And so I've been fortunate to work my way all the way through. So my engagement at a senior level now, and I sit on the leadership team in my organisation, means that I'm able to contribute at all levels, which is great when you've been working in the sector for over 20 years. And I've also got a postgrad in urban regeneration and management, which I obtained at Coventry University.
Wow.
That's my background.
That is so inspiring. Well done, you. You've covered an awful lot of ground there. It just sounds like your role is very people-centered, and you are busy meeting people and interacting with people and putting their needs first, their housing needs first, which again must be really rewarding as a job, I'd imagine. So do you get out on site as well when you're doing that job, Liz? Yeah.
I do. I get out on site a lot. So tomorrow, for instance, I'll be taking handover of 14 new homes in southwest London. And fortunate for this development, we've got houses as well as apartments, which is unusual in London these days. So it's been a great development to work on for the last 2.5 years with a big house builder. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And the residents that have been nominated to the rented unit and the ones that have been nominated for shared ownership, so they'll be buying, they're really excited as well. They're great in quality and design, and, you know, it'll be a lovely place to live in.
Certainly sounds like a really great role. I don't know if there's an equivalent here in Ireland, and it's something that's missed maybe, or maybe there is and I'm not aware of it, but it sounds absolutely wonderful. So thank you so much, Elizabeth, for sharing that with us. I think we're all learning and growing from hearing your story and seeing where you've come from and where you are now. It's just really inspiring, absolutely wonderful. So thank you so much for sharing. I think, Kevin, if you're there, we might just do all speakers on camera now, and we might just do a small little Q&A section amongst all the speakers to kind of wrap up our webinar this afternoon. There has been a few really pleasant kind of comments here in the chat. Thank you so much for everyone who put the comments in. I'm just kind of scanning through them there. I suppose if we get all speakers with the microphones on, and then we just be able to talk kind of amongst ourselves. I'm just wondering, I suppose, to get everyone's opinion on what you think the construction industry has to offer for any girls or females who might be listening to this recording or who are here online with us this afternoon. Might direct that to Lindsay first.
Yeah, I didn't mention that I was head of the School of Architecture in the university and built the University of Wales Trinity. The reason I'm bringing that up now is that I'm very passionate about getting females into the construction industry because I see such great potential and opportunity for different jobs. There are so many different roles. There's definitely something for everyone there. And I think that we need to ensure that as many people as possible, as many girls as possible, are aware of all the different jobs. And I mean, I actually have fun. I enjoy my job. I love the construction. I love my job. There's not many people that can say that. So, you know, I can have a day like yesterday where I might be on site all day. And then, you know, today I'm here, but tomorrow I'm going to be in a meeting where we're going to be discussing a contractor's not very happy because he hasn't been paid the money he wants to be paid. And I'm going to sit down and we're going to be going through that. But I think even in my role, there are lots of different avenues, if you like, within quantity surveying, let alone all the other disciplines within construction. And you've heard today a little bit of a selection of, you know, we're all very different in what we do. But I think there's great opportunity. And as I say, it's exciting. Irene, it's such an exciting career and industry to be involved in.
Thanks so much, Lindsay. Absolutely, 100% agree. Jane, I suppose get your opinion on what the construction industry has to offer girls and females considering it a career.
Well, talking from my own experience, a very rewarding and stimulating career, and the opportunity for you know, transferable skills. I find that myself. You know, I started off in one sector and moved to a different sector. I forgot to tell you all that I do actually have a degree because I'd given up my education early on when I got the job. But no, I did my degree later in life. I was 38 years old when I took my degree, and I went through the CABE route and did a degree with the Sheffield Hallam University. And there are many more opportunities to get into the sector than there used to be. There's a lot of apprentice and training programs. I mean, we operate a very sort of robust and you know, established trainee apprentice program here at Hertfordshire Building Control, where, you know, people can join the sector, and we have trainees, you know, from school leavers right up to people who've you know, worked for many years actually on site and have those transferable skills. And that applies not just to women. I mean, I know we're focusing on the women's side of things today because it is International Women's Day, but you know, everybody can have a role and a rewarding career in this industry, because there are so many opportunities, and opportunities for specialisation. Even within building control, you can specialise in fire safety, you can specialise in accessibility, you can specialise in sustainability. There's many opportunities for everybody, and I definitely would reach out to people looking for a career path, to give consideration to what construction has to offer.
Brilliant, absolutely, and you're dead right. It's a career for everybody. We should be emphasising that for sure. And very inspiring, even more so now. We know a bit more about when you came into academia and how you kind of progressed through to where you are now. The result. That's really brave and really great to see. So I would absolutely advocate that, especially because I'm a full-time academic. I'd be encouraging everybody to try and keep that door open and keep your mind open, because the possibilities and opportunities are endless, as you say, just like you said there. Elizabeth, do you want to add anything else to that? What you think maybe the construction industry has to offer for everybody, including girls and females? Yeah.
Sure. It's a forward-thinking industry. It allows you to progress quite quickly. You can interchange, as Jane mentioned, with regards to your transferable skills. And interestingly, when you work in an industry such as construction, it proves that you're quite resilient. The contribution you make as an individual as part of a team and a wider organisation means that you contribute to the GD gross development product of the country. Construction, it touches all lives, from home improvements to building whole houses and just repairs in general. If you've got a leaking roof, if you need your driveway done, that sort of thing. So it has a lot to offer, and it allows you to also, as we've all mentioned, that you can start your own business, and that's a great position to be in when you can do that, because then you also give the opportunity for your own experience to share that with others and to help grow their skills, and help them to be able to contribute to society. Just look all around us. It's construction isn't just about buildings and houses, it's also about the wider environment. So don't think that it's just about building control, project management, or being a surveyor. You might be a transport professional, you might specialise in water or ecology. So there's sustainability. We haven't covered sustainability today. So that's all part of being within the industry. So lots to offer.
Absolutely, that's it. You're dead right as well. Of course, super points there. I suppose I could add to that really from my own experience. I got involved in a kind of a summer camp for students last summer in June, and again, it was on the premise of enterprise projects with sustainability in mind in the construction industry, and it was targeted at schools, particular school group. The age group being from the age of 14 to 17. So prior to having made a decision about whether to go into construction or engineering. And there was a huge uptake on it, really. The class was filled, almost immediately. And the things that the students were able to create, they came from schools all over Galway City and County. So I'm based in the west of Ireland. And again, we had, 12 different schools represented. Really, really inspiring. What the next generation are really keen on is that green ethos, sustainability, thinking to the future of the materials choices that they're making, and also trying to inform the places that they're going to live and work. So the students were in groups and they created these amazing, really cool kind of models. We did modelling, clay model with Taylor card, and kind of work through, their perfect little workhouse, or great cottage in the garden where they can do some work or study or play their guitar. And there was another group who actually won the competition. At the end of it was they created a really cool little pod that you drop down underground to charge your car in. So they were a group of lads, and they all liked their cars, and they didn't want to have to do without cars in the future, but they designed it so it had a wind turbine and solar panels so that they could be self-sufficient and environmentally and use renewable technology. So the language is there with the younger generation coming through into engineering and construction, and it is something that's driving the process forward. And I would totally agree. Certainly all of the undergraduate and postgraduate qualifications we offer tend to have that included front and centre. It's very much part of the syllabus, and that kind of collegiality and mentorship carries on way past graduation. And it's wonderful when we get a chance to speak to our alumni years and years later. They probably, may or may not recognise us. On my first, always have they shrunk much, but it's absolutely lovely to see how they've progressed in their careers. Guys and girls alike, no more than yourselves, all equally inspiring and having different stories to tell. And, and again, all the more reason to be excited about a job in construction as building engineers or quantity surveyors or architects. My journey started in architecture, went into engineering, and now back into academia. So we have all different stories to tell. So again, I think we probably are at the point where it's time really to kind of finish up today's webinar. There was a few lovely comments in the chat, so thanks to everyone who's been very complimentary. It's great to see that, and I see there's some comments there from members of CABE Southern Ireland sector. Thank you very much. I see Nancy O'Keefe, and I see, sorry if I'm skipping a few, Richard Flynn. Thanks a million, Richard. There are close to 900 members in the Republic of Ireland, and the regional committee meet monthly in CABE. That's good to know as well. And CABE for Women as a group are there actually to support anybody who's already finds themselves in the construction industry who wants to have that opportunity to speak to others and to get advice kind of on a very kind of friendly, collegiate way. Yeah. Anyone else would like to add anything else, I suppose, before we wrap?
I'd just like to say that if anybody's interested in pursuing a career or just finding a bit more about CABE, CABE for Women, or the construction industry as a whole, I'm chair of the CABE for Women group, and I'm happy to chat to any schools or anybody individually, because that's what CABE for Women is about. It's about trying to support the industry and women in construction, and trying to attract as many women as we can into the industry. Yeah, sorry, Irene. That's and thank you so much for setting this up today, Irene. It's been absolutely amazing.
Look, my pleasure. It's always great to do this. Because we're going international, the best option really was to do this online. For any students or school members, of the boards of schools, whoever's here online, or parents, if you'd like to enter into our competition for a super goodie bag, okay, now it'll go out to, it's just a random shuffle, but if you'd like to enter the competition, there's a forms link I just put in the chat, and there's a hoodie, and to say that the rest of the goodie bag, it's a nice weighty feel here too. It certainly would be a nice surprise for International Women's Day, and to have that on its way to you in the post very soon. So please do enter the competition. And what we'll do is we'll also send out a seminar pack for everyone who's attended today. This recording is going to be processed and then circulated as well to Lorraine. You might be able to help me out with this if you're there online. It's going to be circulated to career guidance.
Yes, we'll share it back out with all the schools. So we might let the competition run for 24 hours and we'll choose a winner then. So it gives a chance to get the recording out. And for anybody looking for any information, I suppose, on courses or opportunities, there's such a wide range of programs available at ATU. So to check out the website at atu.ie, and we'll be sure to help you. There's a big open day happening in Galway City on the 25th of March. If anybody's available to attend and wants to ask any more questions or meet Irene in person, we've got a great team there together. So thank you so much, Irene, for organising this. And ladies, it's been a pleasure to get to know you this week as well.
Absolutely. And a big thank you as well to Lorraine, yourself and your team in the schools liaison team. Kevin Cunningham, Dr. Kevin Cunningham, for taking his time out to organise this for us. I see a query there with the link. I might just copy and paste the link again in response to that there. And also to the EDI office, they sponsor the hoodie, so I'll just paste that there. The link is in there again. Hopefully, Rashmi, you're able to get to that link, okay? So anyway, a big thank you to the huge team. This was, and to Orla Flynn, President Dr. Orla Flynn, for joining us as well. Again, a very busy lady, no more than our three wonderful speakers have taken the time out to put this together, and we'll all be available. Certainly my details are online. They're on the AGU website if anybody's interested in having a chat about different professions or different careers or anything like that. You can always contact me by email and we could do a Teams call or something. I'm happy to talk to anyone if they had any questions or anything that they wanted to run by me at any point in time. Okay, I think we'll call it that, I think. Thanks again to everyone for joining us online. It was lovely to have interactions with you all, and we hope we'll meet you virtually and in person again very soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.